Before Europe had a name, before there was a word for king in any tongue you know, black men ruled this earth as gods.
This is not a myth. This is not a theory. This is the history they buried, and it is time you heard it in full. It begins where everything begins. Africa, the cradle of all humankind. The first fire, the first word, the first crown ever placed on a human head.
Every person alive today carries the blood of Africa. Everyone, we were first, we were always first.
On the banks of the Nile rose Kemet, the land the world would later call Egypt. And its rulers were not mere men. They were black kings worshipped as living gods.
I am the son of the sun. The land and the river bend to my word.
While the rest of the world lived in huts, these god kings raised monuments in stone that still stand 5,000 years later. Monuments the modern world still cannot fully explain. And to the south rose an even older power, the Black Kingdom of Kush, a civilization of gold, of iron, of warrior kings, older and prouder than any in Europe.
And when Egypt grew weak and fell into chaos, it was Kush that came to take the throne.
The year is 744 before Christ. The black Kushite King Piye looks north at a broken Egypt, and he does not ask for it. He marches to take it.
The gods have given me this land. I will not wait at its gates. I will walk in as its master.
City after city falls before him. And at the great walls of Memphis, his black warriors storm the ramparts, and the ancient capital is taken by force.
No mercy, no compromise, only conquest.
And Piye is crowned pharaoh of both lands, a black king from the south, now ruler of all Egypt. The dynasty of the black pharaohs had begun. The greatest of them was Taharqa, a warrior pharaoh who ruled an empire stretching from the heart of Africa to the edge of the Middle East. When the mighty Assyrian Empire came for his lands, Taharqa met them in open war. Black armies against the terror of the ancient world, and for years he held them back.
His name was written in fear across 3 continents. A black god king the whole world learned to respect.
And do not let them lie to you about pyramids. In the deserts of Sudan, the land of Kush, there stand more pyramids than in all of Egypt, built by black hands, for black kings. Now turn your eyes to Europe. In these same centuries, and for 1,000 years after, Europe sat in the dark.
No running water, no great libraries. Its people could not read. They lived in mud and they called it the Dark Ages for a reason.
And while Europe struggled in that darkness, Africa blazed with gold. One mighty black empire rose after another, each richer than the last. First came the Empire of Ghana, so rich in gold that its kings taxed it by the camel load, and merchants crossed 1,000 miles of desert just to trade for it. Then came Mali, and its emperor, Mansa Musa, remains to this day the single richest human being who has ever lived. Richer than any king, any queen, any billionaire since.
I hold more gold than the world can count, and I am a servant only to God.
When he crossed the desert on pilgrimage, he gave away so much gold that he crashed the economies of entire nations for a decade. One black man, that much power. And Mali was not just gold. In the city of Timbuktu stood a great university, drawing scholars from across the world to study astronomy, medicine, and mathematics.
Black Africa was reading the stars, while Europe could not read at all.
Then rose Songhai, the largest empire in all of African history. A single state greater in size than all of Western Europe combined, defended by a mighty army. In the east stood Aksum, one of the 4 great powers of the ancient world, minting its own gold coins when most of Europe had no coins at all. And in the south rose Great Zimbabwe, a city of colossal stone walls raised without mortar, a wonder so advanced that later invaders refused to believe Africans could have built it.
But they did build it, kings did, gods did, your ancestors did.
These were not gentle, sleeping kingdoms. They were forged in fire and defended with iron. And the greatest conquest of all was still to come. The year is 711. A black African general named Tariq ibn Ziyad stands on the deck of a warship, and he looks across the water at Europe itself.
Behind us the sea, before us the enemy. There is no going back. We go forward and we take it.
He lands at the great rock that still bears his name to this day. Gibraltar, the mountain of Tariq, and he does the unthinkable. The Moors, black African warriors, sweep across Spain and shatter the armies of Europe. Within a few short years, they hold the gate of a continent.
Black men did not just visit Europe, black men conquered it and ruled it.
And they did not rule for a year or a decade. The Moors ruled in Europe for nearly 800 years, black kings on European thrones. And under their rule, the city of Cordoba became the brightest jewel on the continent. Its streets were paved and lit by lamplight. It had running water and hospitals and libraries holding hundreds of thousands of books.
The most advanced city in all of Europe was a city ruled by black kings.
The Moors gave Europe its universities, its medicine, its mathematics. The very numbers you count with today came to Europe through black hands. Europe did not teach the world. For centuries, Europe sat at the feet of Africa, and Africa taught Europe how to rise. For 800 years, the banners of black kings flew over European soil. This is not a footnote. This is the foundation the modern world was built on.
So ask yourself one question. If all of this is true, why were you never taught a single word of it?
Because when Europe finally rose, it did not just build. It rewrote. It took the god-kings of the Nile and painted their skin pale. It looked at the stone cities of Africa and swore black hands could not have raised them. It took the glory and it erased the face.
They could not erase the achievement, so they erased the color. They stole the crown and hid the king.
But the proof is too big to bury. The pyramids still stand. The stone cities still stand. The gold, the coins, the empires carved into the earth, they cannot lie. Black kings ruled the richest empires the world had ever seen. Black pharaohs were worshipped as gods on earth. Black generals conquered and ruled the continent of Europe itself.
And black queens led armies into battle and made empires tremble.
This is your inheritance, not slavery. That was a chapter, not the story. Your story begins on a golden throne with a crown and a kingdom at your feet.
You are not the descendant of the enslaved. You are the descendant of gods and kings and conquerors.
Remember their names. Remember Piye and Taharqa and Mansa Musa and Tariq. Remember that before the world knew Europe, it knelt before Africa. They were kings, they were queens. They were gods who walked the earth, and their blood is your blood.
They buried this history because a people who know they were gods can never again be made to feel small. Now you know, so rise.